Hey girlies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hey, welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. So for today's video, I wanted to do a foundation do's and don'ts. I'm going to give you tips, tricks, pointers, all of that good stuff on how to get a flawless base. Base makeup is what makes or breaks a look. You have to have a good base in order for you to have, a good makeup day. So if you want to hear all my little pointers, all my little tips and tricks, if you want to know how I get a flawless base, then make sure that you have hit the notification bell down below so you're notified every time I upload content. It's every Wednesday and every Saturday. You have hit the like button because you know that this is going to be a good video and you know you're going to like it, and that you have subscribed down below because you don't want to miss out. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into the video. Okay, so I might look a little bit crazy because I already have my eyeshadow and stuff on, but I really wanted to just focus on the base for my foundation do's and don'ts, what to do, what not to do, how to get a flawless, finish. So let's jump right in and get started. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is moisturizer. No matter what, even if you have oily skin, you always need to moisturize your face. Moisturizer is just going to add another barrier between your pores and your natural oils that come through your skin for your makeup. So the moisturizer is going to help prevent the makeup from seeping into your pores and really clogging them. So one that I love a lot is the Garnier Skin Active Moisture Balm. Looks just like this. You can get it at any drugstore. So this moisturizer is a gel base. I like gel based moisturizers more than cream ones because this really seeps into your skin and it really hydrates it. It's not going to just sit on top of it and clog your pores. This just seeps in and hydrates it. Especially if you have dry skin, this is a necessary step because you don't want dry patches on your face because that's just going to make your foundation look cakey and gross. So once you feel that has seeped into your skin, you can then go in with primer. A lot of people think that primer is unnecessary, but I 100% disagree with them. Primer is such an important step, especially if you have problem areas. So I have really big pores, especially right here in my T-zone. And without a primer, they really show through all of my makeup. It doesn't matter how much full coverage foundation I have on, you're going to see my pores if I don't use a pore fining or a pore filling primer. I think this goes for anyone. Anybody should have a primer. This again is just another barrier that you're going to put between your skin and your foundation. It's going to help you get more of a flawless finish without actually having the foundation seep into your pores and clog your pores and make you break out. So the primer that I really like to use is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Looks just like this. This is oil-free, so it's going to help prevent your natural oils from seeping throughout the day. Even if you have dry skin, your natural oils are going to seep throughout the day, and if you don't use a primer or anything like that, it's going to show through your foundation. Priming is such an essential step in making sure that your foundation stays all day long. It doesn't break apart, it doesn't get patchy, and it doesn't get cakey. So once you're primed and ready to go, you can then go in with foundation. So when picking a foundation, something that is really important that you need to keep in mind is what type of skin you have. So do you have oily skin? Do you have dry skin? Do you have a combination of both? So with me, I have super dry skin, especially during the winter. So when I go get foundation, I really lean towards more luminous foundations. I do like a good matte foundation, but I tend to go towards more of a satin or a luminous finish just because that's what looks best on my skin. Matte finishes really tend to dry me out and really show my dry patches throughout the day. If you have oily skin, you're going to want to go towards a more matte foundation because when you get a luminous foundation, it has that extra hydration in it, so your natural oils that you already get throughout the day are going to show even more. So since I have dry skin, I have a couple foundations that I've picked out that I really like, that I think that people with dry skin or just people in general would really like. So the first one I want to talk about is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is going to be more for my dry skin girls. If you have oily skin, I don't know that I would recommend this one just because, like I said, it is more of a luminous, radiant finish, but it is a really great foundation. Another one that I really like is the Maybelline 24 Hour Foundation. This is more of a satin matte finish, so my girls with oily skin, you would really like this one. They are both super full coverage. They are both going to cover up any little blemish, any redness, anything you have, and they both work really well for me. Now let's talk about applying your foundation. A lot of people like to use a brush, a lot of people like to use a beauty blender. I personally like both. Today, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you using a beauty blender because I do think more people tend to use beauty blenders. So I'm using the Morphe Contour Sponge. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. So when doing your foundation with a sponge, the number one thing you should not do is to leave it dry. You need to dampen your sponge. It's going to help soak up the product and keep it from really caking on your face and using too much. When you use a wet, damp, like beauty sponge, you're really pushing the product into your skin, and it's really getting into all of the little crevices, and it's not just sitting on top of your skin. Another don't to do with beauty blenders is don't swipe. You don't want to swipe no matter what you're using. A beauty blender, a brush, you never want to swipe. You always want to tap, because this is going to give you a nice even coverage. It's not going to leave streaks, and it's going to look more like your skin. So for today, I'm going to use the NARS Radiant Long Wear just because I am feeling extra dry today and I want a more luminous finish. So when applying my foundation, I just like to take my sponge, dip it in the foundation on the back of my hand. You really just pounce it into your skin. No swiping, just pouncing and really blending it in. Make sure that you always get it on your ears and bring it down your neck, because you want to make sure that your foundation and your face matches the rest of your skin. Another tip is going to be to go in with a little first and then just keep building up, because you can always add more, but you can't take away. Once you have your foundation nice and blended out, it is time to go in with concealer. Something that you should really invest in is a really good concealer. My very favorite is the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm in the shade Fair Neutral. Oh, and in the foundation, I'm in the shade Salzburg. But if you want to make sure that you're getting rid of any dark circles, any bags, you need to go in with a really good concealer. So my favorite, like I said, is the Tarte Shape Tape. But if you wanted more of an affordable option, you can get the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. It is pretty much a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape, and it's a lot cheaper. So the key with concealer, before I go in, is, again, start out with a little and you can always build up. I know that you see like all these beauty gurus, all these people going ham, literally going in with so much concealer. And yeah, that works. You're going to get cakey faster with the more product. If you guys have one thing that sticks in your head throughout this whole video, is to make sure that you always start with a little product and build up. Because like I said, you can always add more, but you cannot take away. And the less products you use, the less likely you are to get cakey throughout the day. So with concealer, you want to place this right under your eyes. You want to place this anywhere you want highlighted, so anywhere the light hits you. So right under your eyes, on your chin, on your forehead, down your nose, and I like to do a little above the Cupid's bow. And again, you can use a brush or a beauty sponge. I'm just going to go back in with my beauty sponge. The best way to get the most coverage out of your products is to lightly tap. You don't want to beat your face in, because that's just going to take product away and it's going to kind of hurt. Another tip with concealer I want to go over with you guys is to always blend out your under eyes last, because the longer you leave the concealer there, the more it's going to dry and the more coverage you're going to get from it. You want to drag your concealer out all the way to your temple, and that's just what you're going to brighten. And it's going to give you more coverage. Make sure you really get into the crevice of your nose, because that tends to be a place where foundation breaks up first during the day. Okay, so once you have all of the cream products on your face, it is time to set. Setting is the most essential thing out of this whole foundation do's and don'ts, tips and tricks that you need to know. You have to set all of the cream products on your face. If you don't, it is going to slip and slide and smudge and move, and it's going to break up and it's going to look gross within a couple of hours. It's just not going to be good, especially with the heat that's going on right now, because it's hot. So setting your face is probably the most important step in this routine. I have a couple of different powders that I like to use to set my face. An affordable option is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. This is really good, especially to brighten up the under eyes. Another one I really like is the Too Faced Born This Way, and then the Laura Mercier. That's a really great one. So today we are going to go in with the Too Faced. Okay, so another tip I'm going to tell you. So if you're like me and you have dry skin, you're not going to want to bake. Baking is when you leave the powder on your face for an extended amount of time. And yes, it does help, and yes, it keeps your makeup on for longer. However, if you have dry skin, it is going to make you look crusty, dusty, musty, rusty, dusty, gross. It's going to look bad, it's going to look cakey, it's going to look dry, it's going to look terrible. So if you have dry skin, what I really like to do is to just take my beauty sponge and I will dip into the loose powder. So you take your beauty sponge and the loose powder and you just press it. You press it into the skin. You're not baking, you're just pressing it in. Really just press this into your skin and set the cream. So as you can already tell, this has mattified my face a little bit and it's going to keep the product on for longer. And when I'm done pressing all of that into my skin, where I put the concealer, I will take the leftover product that I have in the cap right here, and I will just take a big fluffy brush and I will set the rest of my face. Because if you don't set the rest of your face and then you try and go in with like bronzer and blush, it's just going to look muddy and it's just going to look gross. So I just take the excess powder on my brush and swirl it around my face, down my neck. Something to remember when setting your face like that is to make sure you're using a powder that doesn't have flashback. So if you're taking a lot of pictures, or if you know you're going to be taking like a picture with flash, you need to make sure that you're not using a powder that has flashback. So if you use a powder that does have flashback and then you set your whole face with it, or even your under eyes, when you take a picture with flash, it's going to show up really bright and really white on camera. It's going to make you look like a ghost. So when you're in the market for a good powder, make sure that you're not going to get flashback when taking pictures. So since we have just put all of that powder on our face, something that I like to do just to bring life back into it and to make it a little bit more, I guess, moist. I kind of hate that word though, but I guess just to make your face lively, I like to go in with a setting spray. One that I like to use is the MAC Fix Plus, but a really good affordable option is the Mario Badescu Rose Water. This is just going to put moisture back into your skin. After I've sprayed my face, I will just go back in with my beauty blender and tap everything out just to really get that moisture like sunk into my skin. Make sure it looks like skin and not just a powdery mess. So that basically is my foundation routine, my steps to getting a flawless base, my do's and don'ts, my tips and tricks. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and I will be back to finish the video. Okay girlies, this is the finished result. As you can tell, my skin looks flawless. No, I'm just kidding, but it does look really good. I have a nice even complexion. I've got a nice bronze, a nice highlight, and you can, like, it doesn't look that unnatural. It looks like it could be my skin, but you know that I have some makeup on. I really hope that these tips and tricks helped you today. I hope that you learned a little something, that you can take some of the pointers I gave you today and apply it to your makeup routine, and I hope that it makes you feel beautiful and flawless and however you want to feel. Remember, if I say something that I think is a don't and that doesn't work out for me, but it works out for you, then keep on doing you, girl. So that is it for this video. I really hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure that you subscribe down below. If you haven't already, you hit the little notification bell right beside it because it will notify you every time I upload content. That is every Wednesday and every Saturday. And make sure that you like this video so that I know you like videos like this, and I will do like different versions. I could do like an eyeshadow do's and don'ts. I could do like an eyebrows do's and don'ts, all that good stuff. So make sure that you do all that stuff down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!